I stepped onto the porch of my Sunnyvale Heights home, a glossy suburban neighborhood in Sanford, California, with a steaming coffee mug in hand, eager to check on the Amazon package I'd been waiting for all week. It was a new pair of wireless earbuds, something I'd had my eye on for ages to keep me company during long coding sessions, but as I stood at the door, I was met with a suspicious void. No familiar brown box, no trace of a delivery person, just an empty porch and a few leaves skittering in the breeze. I froze, staring at the nothingness, as if it had just robbed me of my prized possession. You might think I'm being dramatic, but these packages aren't just stuff, they're joy, rewards, my way of keeping life from getting dull. They're cheaper than therapy, and honestly, more effective. I'm Elliot Harper, a work-from-home programmer, and this isn't the first time I've faced this infuriating void. Last week, a makeup set I ordered for my sister's birthday vanished, despite Amazon's app claiming delivered. Before that, a rare programming book I'd hunted for a month evaporated without a trace. Each time, I told myself maybe the delivery guy mixed up the address or some neighborhood kids were messing around. But this time, the frustration flared up like a wildfire. 3 times is too many. I took a sip of my now cold coffee, feeling like someone had just dared to invade my territory. Before diving into the story, comment where you're watching from and don't forget to subscribe so you never miss the latest video. Sunnyvale Heights is the kind of neighborhood you see in real estate ads. Red-tiled houses, lawns trimmed like they were measured with a ruler, and beige mailboxes mandated by the Homeowners Association or HOA. Everything here is so perfectly staged it feels fake, from the manicured rose bushes to the no parking over 24 hours signs on every corner. But behind this serene facade lies a suffocating web of rules, enforced by Vivian Caldwell, the HOA president who treats controlling the neighborhood like her life's mission. Vivian isn't just a neighbor, she's a nightmare. With her fake smile and ever-present red notebook, she can turn a single misaligned blade of grass into a reason to fine you. I've never liked her, especially after she stood in front of my house, criticizing my trash can for being improperly oriented in a tone that suggested I'd just vandalized the neighborhood's aesthetic. "Elliot, you need to pay more attention to community standards," she said, her eyes gleaming with triumph. This morning as I stood staring at the empty spot where my earbuds package should have been, I felt a mix of rage and helplessness. I checked the Amazon app, delivered with a photo of the package right by my door. I muttered a curse, fighting the urge to hurl my coffee mug. Maybe it was the delivery guy, I told myself, or the neighbor's kid, the one who bikes through my yard. But deep down something felt off. This neighborhood is too quiet, too perfect for petty thefts to keep happening without anyone noticing. I scanned the nearby houses. Nate Delgado's the retired engineer with his old pickup parked out front, Lila and Marcus Tran's, where music often drifts out on weekends. Everything looked normal, but I couldn't shake the feeling that someone was watching. Back inside I opened my laptop, checking my email for any Amazon notifications. Nothing, except a new message from Vivian. Subject: lawn maintenance violation. I glared at the screen, picturing Vivian standing somewhere with her smug smile. The email stated my lawn failed to meet aesthetic standards and needed trimming within 3 days or I'd face a $50 fine. I sighed, wondering how she had time to inspect every blade of grass but didn't notice the missing packages. Or, did she know something? The thought flickered, but I dismissed it. Vivian's a control freak, not a thief. Still, I couldn't let this go on. I decided to order a Ring security camera, the kind that records day and night. If someone was taking my packages, I'd catch them red-handed. I took a final sip of coffee, feeling like I'd just entered a battle I didn't yet understand. I sat in my living room, the glow from my laptop screen illuminating my frustrated face. The coffee mug had gone cold ages ago, but I took a sip anyway, as if it could calm me down. The missing wireless earbuds package still haunted me, and the empty porch at my Sunnyvale Heights home in Sanford, California, was no longer just an inconvenience, it was a challenge. I'd ordered a Ring security camera right after discovering the missing package, and it arrived in just 2 days, a rare miracle, since this time I chose hand-to-hand delivery. I installed the camera by the door, adjusting the angle to cover the entire porch, feeling like an amateur detective in a crime thriller. If someone dared take my packages again, I'd have proof. The camera went live that evening. I placed a decoy package, an empty Amazon box from a previous delivery, on the porch as bait. Deep down I hoped the culprit was just a careless delivery guy, or the neighbor's mischievous kid, but part of me couldn't shake the feeling that something shadier was going on in Sunnyvale Heights. This neighborhood, with its perfect lawns and stifling HOA rules, suddenly felt suspicious. I sat in front of my laptop, eyes glued to the Ring app, waiting. At midnight, my phone buzzed with a camera alert. My heart raced as I opened the app. The footage was grainy under the streetlight, but clear enough to make me nearly drop my phone. It was Vivian Caldwell, the HOA president, someone I'd never suspected. She, in her pastel tracksuit with her poodle Duchess trotting beside her, crept onto my porch. Vivian glanced around, her movements as careful as a seasoned thief, then bent down to pick up the decoy Amazon box. She even opened it, checking inside, obviously finding nothing, before slipping it into her bag and walking off, Duchess yapping softly as if in on the crime. I sat stunned, unable to believe my eyes. Vivian Caldwell, the woman who patrolled the neighborhood with her red notebook and fake smile, was stealing my packages. I replayed the footage, watching it over and over, searching for a reason to excuse her. Maybe she mistook the box, maybe she was checking it for some HOA reason, but no, the way she looked around, her sneaky movements, screamed intent. Anger surged, but I took a deep breath, reminding myself this wasn't a Hollywood crime drama. Maybe it was a misunderstanding, or a small voice in my head whispered, maybe Vivian wasn't just a one-time thief. I thought back to my past encounters with Vivian. She was always everywhere in Sunnyvale Heights, from inspecting Nate Delgado's lawn to criticizing Lila and Marcus Tran's trash cans. Once, she stood in front of my house, staring at my newly painted green mailbox, then said in her saccharine yet icy tone, "Elliot, this color's a bit bold, don't you think? Community standards encourage beige." I'd laughed it off, but now, thinking back, something in her eyes felt off, like she was looking for reasons to nitpick. Had she been eyeing my packages all along? The next morning, I decided to watch Vivian from a distance. I pretended to water my plants out front, my eyes sneaking glances toward her house, 3 doors down. Vivian appeared, still in pastel with Duchess, strolling as usual. She waved at me, her smile as bright as if nothing had happened. "Elliot, how's your lawn coming along?" she called, her voice so sweet it gave me chills. I forced a smile, mumbling something about trimming soon, but inside, I knew I was facing a two-faced adversary. Vivian wasn't just controlling the neighborhood, she was violating my property. Back inside, I resolved not to let this slide. The camera footage was proof, but not enough to confront Vivian directly. She'd deny everything or worse, use her HOA power to paint me as the troublemaker. I needed more information, needed to know why she was doing this. I ordered another decoy package, this time labeled Premium Tech Gadget, to bait her. If Vivian struck again, I'd have more footage, and if she was truly the thief, I'd make her pay. I took a sip of freshly brewed coffee, feeling like I'd just stepped deeper into a dangerous game I didn't fully understand. After watching and re-watching the footage of Vivian Caldwell sneaking away with my decoy Amazon box, I felt a mix of anger and excitement. The rage from having my property violated now blended with an almost mischievous curiosity. I wanted to make Vivian pay, but not by confronting her directly, or calling the cops. No, I wanted something clever, funny and humiliating enough to shame her in front of all of Sunnyvale Heights, the pristine suburban enclave of Sanford, California. Sitting in my living room, a steaming mug of fresh coffee in hand, I started searching for ideas. That's when I stumbled across a YouTube video by Mark Rober, an engineer, who built glitter bombs to trap package thieves. The idea hit like lightning: a decoy box packed with glitter, a harmless stink spray, and a spring-loaded surprise, the perfect weapon to teach Vivian a lesson. I'm Elliot Harper, a programmer, so the thought of building a tech gadget thrilled me. But I knew I'd need help to make it real. I immediately thought of Nate Delgado, my neighbor 2 houses down, a retired mechanical engineer with a garage full of tools and an endless passion for DIY projects. Nate once told me about building an automatic nightlight for his granddaughter, so I was confident he could help. More importantly, Nate didn't like Vivian either. Last summer, she'd fined him $100 for an overgrown lawn just one day after he'd gone on vacation. She thinks she's the queen of the neighborhood, Nate had grumbled during a chat over the fence. I knocked on Nate's door the next morning, laptop in hand, and a coffee mug as a peace offering. Nate, with his silver hair and flannel shirt, opened the door, his eyes curious. "Elliot, what's with the look like you're about to hack the Pentagon?" he teased. I laughed, then spilled everything about the missing packages and the footage of Vivian stealing the decoy. Nate watched the video, jaw-dropping, then burst out laughing. Vivian Caldwell, the HOA queen, unbelievable. When I pitched the glitter bomb idea, his eyes lit up. "You're right, no lawsuits, no arguments, just a glitter explosion to make her humiliate herself. I'm in." We got to work that afternoon in Nate's garage, a treasure trove of tools, wires, and the smell of motor oil. Nate pulled out an old toolbox, while I browsed Amazon to order supplies: ultrafine glitter, a harmless stink spray, a motion sensor, and a small motor for the spring mechanism. I handled programming the sensor to trigger when the box was opened, while Nate tackled the mechanics. We bantered about how much glitter to use. I wanted enough to turn Vivian into a disco ball, but Nate warned, "Don't overdo it, or she'll sue you for glitter assault." His joke made me laugh, but it also sparked a flicker of worry. Was this plan going too far? As we worked, I couldn't stop thinking about Vivian. Why was she stealing packages? Greed, curiosity, or just to assert control? I recalled her standing in front of my house, critiquing my green mailbox in that sweet but cutting tone. "Elliot, this color's a bit bold, don't you think? Community standards encourage beige." At the time I'd brushed it off, but now I realized Vivian didn't just nitpick, she wanted everything in Sunnyvale Heights under her thumb, including my packages. When we tested the glitter bomb in the garage, the results were spectacular. Nate triggered the mechanism, and a cloud of glitter sprayed out, sticking all over his shirt. "Good Lord, this stuff is a nightmare," he shouted, trying to brush it off but only spreading it further. I doubled over laughing, but also realized the device's power. If Vivian got hit, she wouldn't just be embarrassed, she'd be the neighborhood laughingstock. But right then, my phone buzzed with a new email from Vivian. Subject: bicycle storage violation. She accused me of leaving my bike in the yard, compromising the neighborhood's aesthetic, and demanded I move it within 24 hours. I glared at the screen, feeling like Vivian was watching my every move. Nate and I kept refining the glitter bomb, adding a tiny camera to capture Vivian's reaction. I ordered another decoy Amazon box, this time labeled Premium Electronics, and prepared to place it on the porch. As I left Nate's garage, I felt a mix of excitement and anxiety. This was no longer a prank, it was a war. And if Vivian dared take the box again, she'd trigger a glitter storm. I took a final sip of coffee, muttering to myself, "Just wait, Vivian." I sat in my living room, eyes glued to my phone screen, heart pounding like I was watching an action movie. The Ring security camera at my Sunnyvale Heights home in Sanford, California, was linked to the app, and I was watching live. The decoy Amazon box, labeled Premium Electronics and rigged with the glitter bomb Nate Delgado and I had meticulously built, sat on my porch like irresistible bait. I knew Vivian Caldwell, the HOA queen with her fake smile, wouldn't be able to resist. After catching her stealing a package on camera, I was determined to teach her a lesson, not with a confrontation or lawsuit, but with a glitter explosion that would humiliate her in front of the entire neighborhood. It had been 2 days since I placed the decoy, and the wait had me on edge. I sipped my now cold coffee, resisting the urge to check the app every 5 seconds. I told myself to be patient. Vivian wasn't the type to act impulsively. She was careful, calculating, like how she inspected every lawn in Sunnyvale Heights with her red notebook always at hand. But I knew her greed or curiosity would win, and when it did, the glitter bomb would do the rest. On the third night, my phone buzzed just before midnight. A ring alert, motion detected. I nearly dropped my coffee mug, scrambling to open the app. The footage was grainy under the streetlight, but crystal clear. Vivian, in her pastel tracksuit, with Duchess the poodle trotting beside her, crept onto my porch. She glanced around, her movements swift but cautious, like a thief in a comedy flick. I held my breath, as Vivian bent down, picked up the decoy Amazon box, and opened it right there. The moment she lifted the lid, the glitter bomb went off. A cloud of glitter sprayed out, coating her face, hair, and clothes. At the same time, the harmless stink spray released a foul odor, sending Vivian into a panic. I burst out laughing, unable to believe my eyes. Vivian flailed her arms, trying to brush off the glitter but only spreading it further. Duchess, also covered in glitter, barked wildly, running in circles as if under attack. Vivian let out a scream, not words, just a frantic string of noises, then bolted from the porch, leaving a trail of sparkling glitter under the streetlight. She ran across Lila and Marcus Tran's yard, crashing into their trash can and knocking the lid off. I watched the footage, laughing so hard I could barely breathe, feeling like I'd just won a major chess match. Vivian, the haughty HOA queen, now looked like a malfunctioning disco ball, glittering from head to toe. The next morning, I woke up buzzing with excitement and a touch of anxiety. I reviewed the footage again, saved it to my hard drive, and sent it to Nate. He called immediately, laughing so hard he could barely speak. "Did you see her run, like she was stung by bees?" Nate crowed, but he also warned, "Vivian won't let this slide, she'll come for you." I nodded over the phone, knowing he was right. Vivian wasn't the type to accept defeat, especially when her perfect reputation was at stake. I decided to gauge the neighborhood's reaction. Walking past Lila and Marcus's house, I saw them sweeping up the glitter trail Vivian left behind. Lila looked at me and winked. "Someone had a fun night, huh?" she said, her tone suggestive. I gave an awkward smile, playing dumb, but wondered if the gossip had already spread. At the local Sanford grocery store to buy coffee, I overheard people whispering about someone covered in glitter that morning. I bit back a grin, picturing Vivian, still sparkling, trying to maintain her regal air while everyone stared. But my glee didn't last. Back home, I found a new email from Vivian, subject severe community standards violation. She accused me of leaving hazardous materials, meaning the glitter on my porch, causing aesthetic pollution, and demanded an emergency HOA meeting. I glared at the screen, realizing the war was just beginning. Vivian wasn't just stealing packages, she was trying to frame me as the villain. I sipped my coffee, resolved not to let her win. The glitter bomb was just the opening shot, and I was ready for round two. I sat in my living room, the laptop's glow highlighting my tense face. Vivian Caldwell's email was still open on the screen, its threatening lines about severe community standards violations, and a call for an emergency HOA meeting. The glitter bomb had stirred up Sunnyvale Heights, the suburban enclave of Sanford, California, but I hadn't expected Vivian to retaliate so quickly and viciously. The footage of her, glittering from head to toe, fleeing my porch in panic, still made me chuckle whenever I thought of it. But the laughter faded fast as I realized Vivian wasn't the type to back down. She was the HOA queen, and I'd just struck a blow to her perfect reputation. This war, I knew, was about to get ugly. I sipped my now cold coffee, trying to organize my thoughts. The Ring camera footage was clear proof that Vivian stole the package, but her email showed she was trying to paint me as the troublemaker. She called the glitter hazardous materials, and accused me of polluting the neighborhood's aesthetic. Ridiculous. It was her, with her poodle Duchess trotting beside her, who'd snuck onto my porch, taken my decoy Amazon box, and triggered the glitter bomb, humiliating herself. But I wasn't surprised. Vivian had a knack for twisting the truth, like when she fined Nate Delgado for an overgrown lawn, or criticized my green mailbox for not meeting community standards. The next morning, I decided to visit Nate to plan our next move. When I arrived, he was in his garage, cleaning tools with a mix of amusement and worry. "Seen Vivian's email yet?" Nate asked, handing me a fresh mug of coffee. "She's livid. Your glitter bomb was a masterpiece, but now she'll bite back like a rabid dog." I nodded, telling him about the email and the upcoming HOA meeting. Nate frowned, suggesting I gather more evidence before facing Vivian. "You've got the footage, but she'll deny it. You need something airtight, like catching her again." I agreed, but before we could plan further, something unexpected happened. That afternoon, checking the Ring camera, I spotted another figure sneaking around my porch. Not Vivian, but Tyler Brooks, a teenager from a few houses down, notorious for biking through neighbors' yards. The footage showed Tyler grabbing another decoy package I'd placed to trap Vivian, but he didn't open it, just glanced around and stuffed it into his backpack. I was shocked, wondering if I'd misjudged the culprit all along. But watching closely, I noticed Tyler kept looking toward Vivian's house, as if waiting for a signal. I decided to confront Tyler. I found him at the Sunnyvale Heights Park, sitting on a bench fiddling with his phone. "Tyler, we need to talk," I said, my voice calm but firm. He flinched, his eyes darting. After a few minutes of dodging, Tyler confessed Vivian had paid him $20 to monitor my packages, and take some if she asked. "She said she just wanted to check for prohibited items," he mumbled, clearly ashamed. I was floored. Vivian wasn't just stealing, she was manipulating a kid to do her dirty work. This revelation fueled my anger and resolve. Vivian wasn't just a petty thief, she was a control freak, willing to use any means to maintain her grip on the neighborhood. I went home, called Nate, and told him everything. "She's a damn mastermind," Nate said, his voice dripping with disdain. He suggested upgrading the glitter bomb with GPS to track where Vivian took the packages. "If she's stashing them at her house, you'll have undeniable proof," he said. I agreed, feeling adrenaline surge. This wasn't a game anymore, it was all-out war. Before bed, I placed a new decoy Amazon box, this time with the upgraded glitter bomb Nate was finalizing. I checked my email, finding another message from Vivian, demanding I appear at the HOA meeting to explain my disruptive behavior. I smirked, picturing Vivian, still glittering somewhere, trying to maintain her haughty demeanor. She thought she could intimidate me with her petty rules, but she was wrong. I sipped the last of my coffee, muttering to myself, "Just wait, Vivian. This isn't over." I sat in Nate Delgado's garage, the fluorescent bulb casting light over a cluttered workbench strewn with wires, glitter and tools. The smell of motor oil, mixed with the aroma of coffee from the mug Nate had just poured for me, creating an odd atmosphere, half workshop, half war room. After Tyler Brooks confessed that Vivian Caldwell had paid him to monitor and steal my packages, I knew the battle in Sunnyvale Heights, Sanford, California, was no longer just personal. Vivian wasn't just taking my packages, she was a manipulator, using her HOA power to control the entire neighborhood. Her latest email, demanding I appear at an HOA meeting for my disruptive behavior with the glitter bomb, only fueled my determination. Nate and I were upgrading our weapon, and this time, I'd make sure Vivian couldn't deny a thing. "Adding GPS is a smart move," Nate said, holding a tiny GPS module, his eyes gleaming like a kid unwrapping a present. "If Vivian takes the box anywhere, we'll know exactly where. And if she stashes it at her house, you've got ironclad evidence." I nodded, adrenaline pumping. The new glitter bomb didn't just spray glitter and stink, it had a tiny camera to record every moment and GPS to track its journey. Nate handled the mechanics, while I programmed the GPS and camera to sync with my phone. We worked late, debating the glitter amount. I still wanted enough to make Vivian a disco ball, but Nate cautioned, "Don't go overboard, Elliot. She'll sue you for glitter crimes or something." I laughed, but a twinge of worry hit me. Vivian wasn't someone to underestimate. As we worked, I couldn't stop thinking about Tyler's revelation. Vivian paid him to do her dirty work, claiming it was to check for prohibited items, but why? Greed, power, or just an addiction to control? I recalled her standing in front of my house, critiquing my green mailbox in that saccharine yet sharp tone. "Elliot, this color's a bit bold, don't you think?" Now I saw that Vivian wasn't just nitpicking, she wanted everything in Sunnyvale Heights under her control, including my packages. This realization hardened my resolve, but also unnerved me. Confronting Vivian at the HOA meeting would require more than just footage. I decided to dig for more evidence. I reached out to Clara Nguyen, a former HOA secretary, who lived a few houses down. Clara was reserved, but I'd heard she'd quit the HOA after clashing with Vivian. I knocked on her door, bringing a box of cookies as a gesture. Clara, with her silver hair and sharp eyes, invited me in, but her expression was wary. "Elliot, what brings you here?" she asked. I laid it all out, the missing packages, the footage of Vivian stealing, and Tyler's confession. Clara sighed, her eyes flashing with anger. "I'm not surprised," she said. "Vivian's done this to others. She took packages from Lila and Marcus Tran's house, claiming she was checking contents, but never returned them. I saw it myself, but she threatened to oust me from the HOA if I spoke up." Clara's confession hit like a bombshell. Vivian wasn't just targeting me, she was a serial thief, using her HOA authority to cover her tracks. Clara agreed to testify at the HOA meeting but warned Vivian won't go down quietly. She's got a loyal posse in the association. I thanked her, feeling like I'd gained a key ally. Back home, I checked my email and found another message from Vivian, accusing me of running an illegal business due to my frequent package deliveries. Absurd, I muttered, but I knew she was trying to smear me before the meeting. Nate and I finished the new glitter bomb that night. We tested it in the garage, and the results were spectacular. Glitter sprayed like fireworks, the stink spray made Nate cough, and the GPS worked perfectly. I placed a new decoy Amazon box on the porch, labeled Premium Tech Device, and double-checked the Ring camera. But as I prepared for bed, anxiety crept in. Vivian was a formidable opponent, and the upcoming HOA meeting would be a real battle. I rehearsed my speech in my head, picturing myself playing the footage of Vivian stealing and Clara exposing her. But deep down, I wondered if I was going too far. What if Vivian sued me, or worse, if the neighborhood turned against me? I took a final sip of coffee, gazing out the window. The streetlights illuminated the perfect lawns of Sunnyvale Heights, but I knew a war was simmering beneath the surface. Vivian had started it, but I wouldn't let her win. The new glitter bomb was my weapon, and I was ready for the big battle. Bring it on, Vivian, I whispered, feeling like a warrior gearing up for combat. I stood in front of the Sunnyvale Heights Community Center, my heart pounding like a war drum. The small building with its red-tiled roof and polished Homeowners Association sign looked ordinary under the streetlights, but tonight it felt like an arena. The emergency HOA meeting, called by Vivian Caldwell to address my disruptive behavior, was my chance to turn the tables. In my pocket I carried a hard drive with footage of Vivian stealing packages and getting hit by the glitter bomb, plus Clara Nywin's promise to testify. But as I stepped inside, I sensed the tense atmosphere, as if all of Sanford, California was waiting to see if I'd triumph or be crushed by Vivian. Inside, the room was packed with neighbors, from Leela and Marcus Tran with curious glances to Mr. Peterson, Vivian's loyalist, glaring at me from the corner. Vivian sat at the head table, wearing a pastel cardigan and oversized sunglasses, as if still recovering from the glitter fiasco. Her fake smile gave me chills, but I stayed calm. I was prepared footage, Vivian's absurd emails, and Clara's testimony. Nate Delgado, sitting beside me, patted my shoulder. "Stay cool, Elliot, she'll dig her own grave," he whispered. The meeting began with tedious formalities, budget reports, public sprinkler schedules, but all eyes were on Vivian when she stood. "Ladies and gentlemen," she began, her voice sweet but sharp, "we're here to address a serious issue. Elliot Harper's disruptive behavior, who intentionally used hazardous materials to vandalize our neighborhood's aesthetic and safety." She paused, emphasizing hazardous materials, referring to the glitter bomb. Some nodded, especially Mr. Peterson, but Leela whispered something to Marcus, both stifling laughs. Vivian continued, her voice trembling with theatrical flair. "I was attacked by a so-called glitter bomb, causing emotional distress and polluting our community. We cannot tolerate this behavior." I nearly laughed. Emotional distress. The woman who stole my packages was playing the victim. But I stayed silent, waiting for my turn. When called, I stood, taking a deep breath. "I'm not here to cause trouble," I said, my voice calm but firm. "I'm protecting my property. My packages, earbuds, makeup, books keep getting stolen, and I have proof of who's responsible." The room buzzed. I plugged my hard drive into the projector, and footage of Vivian sneaking off with the decoy Amazon box appeared on the big screen. Neighbors gasped as she, with Duchess the poodle trotting beside her, opened the box and triggered the glitter bomb. Laughter erupted as the scene of Vivian fleeing, covered in glitter, played on loop. Vivian shot up, her face flushed. "That's fabricated," she shouted, pointing at me. "He set this up to defame me." But the room's murmurs suggested no one bought it. I pressed on. "This isn't the first time. Vivian's stolen multiple packages, not just mine." I turned to Clara, who stood with astonishing composure. "I witnessed Vivian take packages from Leela and Marcus Tran's house, and Mr. Peterson's too," Clara said, her voice clear. "She claimed it was to check contents, but never returned them. I left the HOA because I couldn't stomach her behavior. The room fell silent. Mr. Peterson, once Vivian's ally, looked shocked, muttering about his own missing package. Vivian panicked, trying to salvage her image. "Clara's lying, she's conspiring with Elliot to overthrow me," she shrieked, her voice breaking. But I was ready for this. I played another clip, sourced by Nate from Leela and Marcus's camera, showing Vivian in her garage opening a package and pulling out makeup, the exact kind I'd lost last week. The murmurs turned to boos. Leela jumped up. "That was my birthday gift." Vivian, pale and stammering, couldn't find a defense. I thought I'd won. But Vivian, with astonishing stubbornness, pulled an envelope from her bag, brandishing it like a final weapon. "I have proof," she declared, her voice shaky. "An environmental expert's report confirming Harper's glitter is a pollutant, violating local laws." The room went quiet. I was stunned, not expecting Vivian to go this far. Nate whispered, "She's bluffing, but it's dangerous." I tried to stay calm, but my heart raced. If Vivian could fake a report, she could frame me as a criminal. The meeting ended in chaos. Some neighbors like Leela and Marcus clapped for me, but others like Mr. Peterson still glared, clearly swayed by Vivian. The HOA board announced they'd review evidence and decide later. As I left, I felt both satisfied and anxious. I'd humiliated Vivian, but she wasn't done. Clara patted my shoulder, whispering, "You did great, but Vivian will retaliate. Be careful." Nate nodded, his expression grave. "One more strike, Elliot. The new glitter bomb's the key." Back home, my mind spun. The footage, Clara's testimony, and Leela's support were advantages, but Vivian's fake report was a real threat. I sipped my coffee, staring out the window. The street lights lit up Sunnyvale Heights' perfect lawns, but the war wasn't over. Vivian had made it personal, and I wouldn't let her win. I smirked, thinking of the new glitter bomb, waiting in Nate's garage. "Bring it on, Vivian," I whispered, ready for the next round. I sat in my living room, the phone screen flickering as I checked the Ring app for the 10th time that night. After the fiery HOA meeting at the Sunnyvale Heights Community Center in Sanford, California, I knew Vivian Caldwell wouldn't give up. Despite being exposed by footage of her stealing packages and Clara Ninewen's testimony, she clung on, waving a fake glitter pollutant report to smear me. Anger mixed with resolve kept me restless. The first glitter bomb had humiliated Vivian, but it wasn't enough to stop her. With the new version upgraded with GPS, a tiny camera, and double the glitter, Nate Delgado and I were ready to land a decisive blow. I placed a new decoy Amazon box on the porch, labeled Premium Tech Device, as irresistible bait. The Ring camera was adjusted for clear footage, and I checked the GPS to ensure it worked. Nate, with a mischievous grin, had warned while we finished the glitter bomb in his garage. "This time she'll be sparkling till Christmas." But behind the excitement, I was worried. Vivian wasn't just a thief, she was a strategist, ready to use HOA power and fake reports to crush me. If this trap failed, or worse, if she sued, I could lose more than a few packages. On the second night after the meeting, my phone buzzed near midnight, a Ring alert, motion detected. I bolted up, heart pounding, and opened the app. The footage showed Vivian, in a dark coat and baseball cap, clearly trying to disguise herself, sneaking onto my porch. Duchess, her poodle, was absent, likely to avoid another barking fiasco. Vivian glanced around, her movements quick but cautious, then grabbed the decoy box. As she opened the lid, the glitter bomb went off. A massive cloud of glitter sprayed out, coating her from head to toe, accompanied by the stench of the harmless stink spray. The tiny camera inside the box captured it up close. Vivian panicking, flailing her arms, glitter clinging to her face and coat, her eyes wide with fear like she'd been attacked by a ghost. I laughed out loud, nearly knocking over the coffee mug on the table. But the scene didn't end there. Vivian, instead of running home, bolted across the street toward the Sunnyvale Heights Community Center, where a routine HOA meeting was happening. I was stunned, realizing she might be trying to rally allies to accuse me. I checked the GPS, the signal confirmed the box was still with her. Without hesitation, I called Nate. "She's headed to the community center, covered in glitter," I yelled. Nate burst out laughing. "God, this is gonna be legendary. Get over there, Elliot." I raced out, sprinting to the community center a few blocks away. When I arrived, the The scene was beyond imagination. Vivian stood in the meeting room, glittering like a broken Christmas tree, trying to explain herself to the HOA members. "This is proof," she shouted, holding up the decoy Amazon box, but glitter kept falling from her hair to the floor. The stink spray's odor made some cover their noses, while others, including Lila and Marcus Tran, laughed hysterically. "Vivian, you look like you crashed a unicorn party," Marcus joked, sparking room-wide laughter. Vivian, flushed, stammered, "This is an attack. Elliot Harper must be punished." But no one believed her. Even Mr. Peterson, once her supporter, shook his head, clearly embarrassed for her. I stood at the door, stifling laughter, but my heart felt lighter. The second glitter bomb didn't just humiliate Vivian, it shattered her perfect image in front of the neighborhood. When she spotted me, she pointed, screaming, "You'll pay for this, I'll sue you." But her voice faltered, and the glitter still falling from her coat made her threats sound like a joke. The meeting dissolved in chaos, with laughter and murmurs following Vivian as she stormed out. Back home, I reviewed the tiny camera's footage, laughing until my sides hurt. But joy mixed with worry. Vivian had vowed to sue, and though discredited, her HOA influence remained a threat. I sipped my coffee, staring out the window. Sunnyvale Heights looked peaceful under the streetlights, but the storm wasn't over. I texted Nate and Clara, preparing for whatever Vivian might pull next. "She's done for now," I whispered, but wondered if I was ready for the next battle. I sat on my Sunnyvale Heights porch in Sanford, California, a hot coffee mug in hand, watching sunlight filter through the oak trees. Just days after the second glitter bomb humiliated Vivian Caldwell at the community center, the neighborhood had become a rumor mill. The tiny camera's footage, capturing Vivian sparkling like a Christmas tree and shrieking in panic, had spread through the neighbors' WhatsApp group, thanks to Lila and Marcus Tran's accidental sharing. Laughter echoed from every corner, but I sensed a deeper shift. The neighborhood was no longer Vivian's personal playground. Yet my victory came at a cost. Sunnyvale Heights was divided, and I was at the storm's center. The morning after the HOA meeting, I got a text from Nate Delgado. "You're a legend, but watch your back. Vivian's fuming," he wrote, with a smiley emoji. I smirked, but the joy faded when I opened my email. Vivian had sent a new message, colder than ever, accusing me of undermining community safety and threatening to sue for personal assault with the glitter bomb. She even cited local laws, claiming fines for dispersing pollutants, meaning the glitter. I glared at the screen, wondering how someone could turn a harmless prank into a crime, but I knew Vivian wasn't joking. She was desperate to regain control at all costs. The neighborhood, split in two, Lila and Marcus, along with some younger residents, backed me. Lila stopped by, bringing cookies and a sly grin. "Elliot, you're a hero. No one's ever taken on Vivian like this," she said. Marcus nodded, saying they'd started a WhatsApp group to warn each other about stolen packages, inspired by me. But not everyone was thrilled. Mr. Peterson, once Vivian's ally, stopped me on the street, glaring. "You think you're clever, but you've torn this neighborhood apart." "Vivian was just trying to keep things orderly," he grumbled. I tried explaining that Vivian stole packages, but he walked off, muttering about disrespectful kids. The division unsettled me. I'd only wanted to protect my property, not turn Sunnyvale Heights into a battlefield. Amid the divide, Clara Nguyen became an unexpected beacon. She visited, bringing old HOA documents from her time as secretary. "Vivian forced out anyone who challenged her," Clara said, her voice calm but resolute. She revealed plans to run for HOA president to replace Vivian and restore fairness. "You started this, Elliot. People are questioning her now." I was touched but worried. If Clara failed, Vivian would tighten her grip, and I'd be her main target. I called Nate to strategize. He suggested hosting a community event, a neighbor day, to mend the neighborhood and boost Clara's support. "Vivian wants to divide us. Don't let her win," he said. I agreed, but my heart was heavy. I rewatched the second glitter bomb footage, chuckling at Vivian's glittering sprint to the community center, but the smile faded. Mr. Peterson's words echoed, was I a hero or just a troublemaker? To prepare for the event, I contacted Lila and Marcus, asking them to invite neighbors. Lila was thrilled, promising to bring her Bluetooth speaker and bake, Marcus vowed to organize games for kids. I started feeling hopeful, maybe the neighborhood could unite despite Vivian. But then, my phone buzzed with another email from Vivian, announcing a new HOA meeting to review my residency status. She wasn't giving up, and the threat of a lawsuit loomed like a dark cloud. I sipped my coffee, staring out the window. Sunnyvale Heights' perfect lawns looked serene, but a storm was brewing. Vivian had turned this into a fight to the death, and I couldn't back down. I texted Nate and Clara, confirming the Neighbor Day plans and preparing for the new meeting. She wants to play dirty, we'll play back, I whispered, feeling like a warrior ready for the final battle. But deep down I wondered if the neighborhood could heal or if this war would leave permanent scars. I stood in the middle of Sunnyvale Heights Park in Sanford, California, sunlight streaming through the oaks, illuminating the colorful booths of Neighbor Day. After the second glitter bomb humiliated Vivian Caldwell and split the neighborhood, Nate Delgado, Clara Nguyen, Lila, Marcus Tran, and I organized this event to mend the community. The smell of Lila's freshly baked cookies, mixed with music from Marcus's Bluetooth speaker, and children's laughter from sack races, echoed through the park. But inside I felt a mix of excitement and anxiety. Vivian's latest email, announcing an HOA meeting to review my residency status, hung like a dark cloud. I sipped my coffee, reminding myself today was about the neighborhood, not the war with Vivian. The event was livelier than expected. Neighbors from all corners of Sunnyvale Heights showed up, bringing food, games and stories about Vivian. Mr. Peterson, who'd glared at me over the glitter bomb, surprised me by stopping by with a tray of sandwiches. "I don't agree with your methods, Elliot," he said, his tone softer, but I checked and found my packages missing too. "Maybe you were right about Vivian." I nodded, relieved. Clara, with her calm smile, mingled discussing her HOA presidency run. "We need someone fair," she said, earning nods of support. Lila and Marcus turned the day into a true party. Lila set up a free cookie stand, while Marcus ran a ring toss game, drawing kids and adults alike. Nate, with his silver hair and familiar flannel, stood beside me, winking. "You pulled it off, Elliot. This place has never been this alive." I smiled, but worry lingered. Vivian's absence was odd for someone who controlled every event. Was she plotting, or just licking her wounds after 2 glitter hits? As the sun set, the day ended with a small fireworks display Marcus arranged. Neighbors clapped, hugged, and for the first time, I felt Sunnyvale Heights was a real community, not just a collection of HOA-controlled houses. Clara approached, patting my shoulder. "Thank you, Elliot. You've sparked something here." I smiled, but couldn't shake the unease. Vivian remained a threat, and the upcoming HOA meeting could be her last chance to strike. Back home, I checked my email, bracing for another threatening message. Surprisingly, I found an HOA announcement, but not from Vivian. It stated Vivian had submitted her resignation as president, citing personal health reasons, and a temporary chair would be appointed. I was stunned, immediately calling Nate. "She's out," I shouted. Nate laughed. "Your glitter bomb was stronger than a nuke," but Clara, when I called, cautioned, "Don't celebrate yet. Vivian may be out, but someone will take her place. Keep an eye on the HOA." I sat on my porch, savoring a new Amazon package, a programming book, this time unstolen. I sipped the last of my coffee, gazing at the tranquil neighborhood. Sunnyvale Heights had changed. Neighbors installed cameras, started WhatsApp groups to protect packages, and Vivian's reign had sparked rebellion. But the HOA's final email, mentioning a temporary chair, made me wonder if the war was truly over. Another Vivian might be waiting, ready to impose new rules. I smirked, thinking of the glitter bomb still in Nate's garage, ready for any scenario. "Bring it on," I whispered, feeling like a warrior who'd won but stayed vigilant. The park still glowed with lights, and the day's laughter echoed in my mind. Sunnyvale Heights was my home now, and I'd protect it, no matter who the next enemy was. The story of Elliot Harper and his battle with Vivian Caldwell in Sunnyvale Heights, Sanford, California, reflects real issues in American life today, especially the tension between individual rights and community authority, as well as the importance of unity. Vivian's package theft and use of HOA power to control the neighborhood echo the reality of homeowners associations in the U.S., which sometimes impose rigid rules, pressuring residents. The glitter bomb, with its harmless sparkle and stink, symbolizes creative resistance, much like how many Americans use technology and social media to cleverly fight injustice, such as viral campaigns on X or TikTok. The neighborhood's polarization after the glitter bombs, with Lila and Marcus Trans supporting Elliot, while Mr. Peterson defended Vivian, mirrors modern American society, where issues like privacy and community governance easily divide. Clara One's testimony and HOA candidacy, along with Elliot's Neighbor Day, show the power of unity and collective action, a core American value. To apply this to real life, learn from Elliot's blend of creativity and patience in facing Vivian. When encountering injustice, like overbearing HOA rules or privacy violations, don't rush to confront directly. Instead, gather evidence, like Elliot's camera footage, and find allies like Clara and Nate. Use technology, such as security cameras or social media, to protect yourself, but do so responsibly to avoid harm. Most importantly, like Neighbor Day, build bridges with your community through dialogue and sharing, rather than letting conflict divide. In a diverse society like America, unity and creativity are key to overcoming differences, creating a stronger community. Thanks for following my sparkling saga in Sunnyvale Heights. Subscribe to the channel to catch the next hilarious HOA battles. See you in the next video, where we'll uncover more surprises from this neighborhood.